my name is Faith Murray, and this is my American Cultural Reaction video. The article, Body Ritual Among the Nesurima by Horace Minor, talked about the traditions of the Nesurima people. An aspect of the Nesurima culture that I found interesting is that the sacred rites and rituals of the Nesurima people are not discussed very openly among one another. The children are taught the sacred rites at a very young age, and they're given instructions upon how to perform them in the private shrines in their homes. So each home that the Nesurima people have as families, they all have a shrine that the people will go to and perform their sacred rites, but each family member does that individually and in private. But during the time of childhood, when they're taught the sacred rites, the mothers of the children are often accused of placing curses on their children while instructing them on the sacred practices. This is very different than most culture in America. Often people in America are more open with their spiritual practices than the Nesurima people are, and instruction in many religions common in America continues throughout one's life if they choose to continue in the religion in which they were raised. Likewise in America, if someone chooses to change their belief system, they can do that and are free to do so by law, but sometimes specific subcultures within America, it wouldn't be culturally acceptable to leave one's religion or become skeptical, but still it's legally acceptable and does happen. Differently from the Nesurima people in America are likely to become skeptical of their belief system they are raised in as they get older, and people in the Nesurima culture are very committed to their spiritual beliefs as adults especially, and they generally don't stray from them, whereas the children in that culture tend to be the most skeptical of the belief system, as it tends to cause physical harm to each individual in that belief system. American cultural tradition tends to be the lighting of fireworks on Independence Day and around that time. In the United States, it's common for people to light fireworks on the 4th of July in celebration of Independence Day. Other cultures may look at this and wonder why Americans celebrate gaining independence from Britain using fireworks and how that tradition has carried on as long as it has. Some Americans are very enthusiastic about celebrating with fireworks, and Americans altogether spent well over $1 billion on fireworks on and around Independence Day in 2020 alone. People of other cultures might look at this massive amount of spending in the United States and wonder why anyone would spend that amount of money on fireworks to begin with, or also just to celebrate during such a short period of time. But this development of the tradition has led to regulations on fireworks and a lot of controversy within the United States. This tradition itself dates back to 1776, a few days after independence was gained from Great Britain that same year. And over the years since then, the tradition has kind of stayed in place, but it originated in 1776 when America gained independence from Great Britain. They lit fireworks in order to make fun of the country they just gained independence from, because the British would light off fireworks in celebration of their royalties' birthdays, and America did so on a few days after the first Independence Day, in order to kind of rub it in that they had gained independence. So with the continuation of the tradition, there came regulations of firework possession and usage, which frustrated some people who would like to use the explosives to celebrate without any accountability or regulations. Just this last year, 2021, in South Dakota, there were regulations that usually aren't in place, and the fireworks show that usually takes place at Mount Rushmore every year was canceled by the presidential administration and the governor of South Dakota, Kristi Noem. She was pretty upset about that and looked to sue the Biden administration for infringing her rights to put on the fireworks show at Mount Rushmore, but the regulations are only in place to keep people safe and keep forest fires from happening because it was a pretty dry year there. and in the state of Arizona, specifically, consumer fireworks were banned until 2010. And now, according to an article called Celebrate Independence Day Safely by Heeding Firework Laws, released by U.S. Official News, certain ground fireworks are allowed, such as fountains, but none of them are allowed that become airborne and then explode, such as bottle rockets and Roman candles. The tradition of watching fireworks in celebration has remained consistent, though, as there are fireworks shows that are put on by states, counties, and other institutions that people can get together and watch. But keeping the tradition of fireworks for the 4th of July seems to be good in general, and Americans seem to enjoy watching them and celebrating Independence Day along with American values. Changes over time in the regulation of fireworks is also good, as they are extremely dangerous to handle and can cause things like forest fires if they're not properly used and aren't used in the exact right conditions. Like if an area is too dry, like the Black Hills were over the summer for lighting off fireworks, then it's good to regulate whether or not they can be used in the national forest areas. Additionally, fireworks release a lot of pollutants into the air, so fireworks shows that are put on by state and local governments are good in order for many people to watch together rather than buying and lighting their own and releasing those pollutants into the air. But the tradition itself seems to be pretty popular among the American people, and it is a cultural thing that has been enjoyed for hundreds of years. Thank you.